Let's talk about a feeling I think we all know. That end of the day, brain fried, pulled in a million directions feeling, mostly thanks to these little glowing screens we carry around. We're going to get into what's really happening to our focus and, more importantly, how to get it back.
Okay, let's start with this. You're just sitting there, maybe working, maybe watching TV, and you feel it, that little buzz in your pocket. You instinctively reach for your phone expecting something, but when you look, the screen is dark. Nothing. If you're nodding along right now, you are definitely not alone.
Believe it or not, this weird little thing has a name: phantom vibration syndrome. And yeah, you heard that right, it's a tactile hallucination. It's also shockingly common. One study found that almost 90% of college students have felt it. That's a huge sign of just how much these devices have rewired our brains to be on constant alert. Now let's zoom out from that one weird buzz to a much more general feeling. Think about the end of a day where you've been bouncing between emails, Slack messages, social media, the whole thing. Do you feel productive, or do you just feel scattered, kind of impatient, totally drained?
Well, that feeling has a name, too: directed attention fatigue. And the science behind it is fascinating. See, your brain doesn't focus by just, focusing harder on one thing. It works by actively blocking out everything else. It's constantly playing defense against distractions. When you force it to do that all day, those defensive systems just get worn out. So this isn't you being lazy, it's your brain quite literally running on fumes.
So the big takeaway here is that these aren't just vague feelings we have. They're real, measurable states our brains get into. So in this explainer, we're going to look at what's happening on a brain level. And then we're going to walk through a super clear, actionable plan to take back the controls.
All right, first up, your brain on overload. Before we can fix the problem, we need to understand just how big it really is. So get this. A massive analysis that looked at almost 100,000 people found that over a third of us, 37.1%, show signs of what scientists call problematic smartphone use. And this is way more than just using your phone a lot. It's when that use starts causing some real problems in your life.
And those problems can be pretty serious. Problematic smartphone use is officially defined as behavior that gets in the way of your day-to-day life. And the research is clear. It's strongly linked with higher levels of depression, anxiety, and stress.
So what's actually going on in our skulls? Well, it's kind of a one-two punch. First, every single ping or buzz forces your brain to do something called context switching. That costs a ton of mental energy. Second, each one of those alerts gives you a tiny little hit of dopamine, that reward chemical. This creates this addictive little loop that makes it harder and harder to ignore the next one.
And all of this leads to some pretty tough real-world consequences. When your brain's attention system is totally fried from DAF, the symptoms can be pretty surprising. You might find yourself being way more impulsive or getting irritable and snapping at people. You can become more forgetful. It can even mess with your judgment and make you miss important social cues in a conversation.
Okay, so that's the problem. It's real, it's widespread, and it has consequences. So, what on earth do we do about it? Let's talk about a solution you've probably heard of: the digital detox.
Now, the most important word here is mindful. A digital detox is not about being dramatic and throwing your phone off a bridge. It's about making a conscious choice to dial back your device use, to give your brain a much-needed break to recover and reset. And the research shows that the benefits here are huge. When people take these intentional breaks, we see real, measurable drops in depression and anxiety. People report sleeping better, having more self-control, putting things off less, and because they're actually present, they end up building stronger relationships in the real world.
But let's be honest, a vague goal like "I'm going to use my phone less" almost never works. We need an actual system. And that's where this tiered notification strategy comes in. This is the practical, rubber-meets-the-road part of taking back control. This quote just nails the whole philosophy. Before you can manage all the incoming noise, you have to decide what actually matters to you, what truly deserves your immediate attention. Once you figure that out, filtering out the rest becomes so much easier. The system itself is pretty simple. You're going to categorize every single alert into one of three tiers. Think of Tier 1 as the true emergency lane, stuff you absolutely have to know right now. Tier 2 is for things that are important, but you can deal with them later. And Tier 3, that's everything else. All the digital chatter you can check when you decide to. Let's make this super concrete. An emergency call from your kid's school? That's Tier 1. Let it make noise. A work email or a calendar reminder for a meeting? That's Tier 2. Let it pop up silently on your lock screen so you see it later.
A like on your latest photo, or a breaking news alert. That is classic Tier 3. Just turn those notifications off completely. You'll see it when you open the app. No need for it to interrupt your life. Okay, this tier system is a total game changer, but it works best when you build a few other healthy digital habits around it.
So instead of reacting to every little thing, schedule a few times a day to check your messages. Create phone-free zones like the dinner table or your bedroom. Try a digital sunset. No screens for the last hour before you go to sleep. And my favorite, before you even unlock your phone, just pause for a second and ask yourself, why am I picking this up right now? That tiny pause can break the whole cycle of mindless checking.
And it really helps to get to know your personal triggers. A lot of the time, we grab our phones not because we need something, but because we're bored, or we feel awkward in a social situation, or we're anxiously waiting for a specific text. Once you recognize your triggers, you can start to choose a different response.
Let's be really clear about something. The goal here is not to become some kind of tech-hating hermit. Technology is amazing. This is about making one fundamental shift. Moving from a reactive relationship with your devices, where they control you, to a proactive one, where you control them. It's about you being in the driver's seat.
And that brings us to the last and maybe the most important question. All that mental energy, that focus, that clarity that you get back, it's not just an empty space where distraction used to be. It's a resource. It's fuel. It's what you need for deep work, for creativity, for real connection. So once you get it back, what are you going to do with it?